Hey, it's Victus People Podcast. Every month, we'll be sitting down with an expert who's passionate about humans. Each episode, we bring you a thought-provoking conversations, practical insights, and actionable strategy to help you lead and build that meaningful relationship. Thanks for tuning in, and please hit that subscribe button. Now, let's dive into the episode.
All right. Hey, Lindsay, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for joining us. We are in Bangkok and it's almost 3 p.m. What about you over there?
Well, I was rudely interrupting you because I'm listening to the kids. They're just awake, so it's breakfast time. So thankfully they're being quiet, but great to be here and love to be on your podcast, and hopefully share some interesting stuff together.
Absolutely. I'm sure the audience is going to get a lot out of this. Could you quickly tell our audience that what can they expect in this episode?
Well, hopefully we'll share a few stories. We've all got a connection to insights discovery, personal development, team development, rich careers in how we have connected with humans, really, and that development journey. So I'm hoping today is a little bit of a story. We can maybe share some of these little interesting, I can see yours behind you as well, about really how we all support and help in the journey of self-awareness. I call it supercharging awareness for performance.
That's super.
And that's what we want to try and have a conversation about, I think.
Yeah. So could we say that by the end of this episode, our audience will get, if not supercharged, but have some charge of self-awareness? They would understand probably what these four colors are.
So maybe it's not quite supercharged. Maybe there's a wee spark, a little spark. It leads to that kind of awareness and understanding. And if we can get people to think about these, which we'll explain, and get interested, I think we've done our job pretty well.
All right. I think the audience is now curious to know what this is. What is this insights discovery? But before that, the audience should know, who is Lindsay? Could you tell us a little bit, a compact biography of Lindsay?
I will try. So who's Lindsay? So essentially, Lindsay's a husband of a beautiful wife, Lisa, a father of 4 children. I was saying that's probably the one you can hear shouting and screaming. So they challenge me on brilliant, positive ways every single day. I'm also a consultant, and I work in this area that you both work in as well. I've had a connection to Insights, so the organization who has created this insights discovery model that we're going to talk about for over 2 decades. Started kind of journeyed out of university into the world of a career, and then spent 20 years in the care and guardianship of Andy and Andy Lothian, the owners of the business. So loved that, developed a skill set, I think, through being in a sales role, in a product role, in a facilitation role. And combining all those parts, I realized what I loved was the person-to-person connections, helping people through development, and the fact I can do it through some really brilliant, impactful tools like Insights Discovery. It just makes my job so much better and more interesting.
And earlier you alluded to the founders of Insights Discovery, Andy and Andy Lothian, and you seem to have developed a strong connection relationship with them. Is there anything that you could share about any story of yours with them that the audience should know?
Andy Senior created this model of insights discovery in the language of personal development. So being able to sit with him and really understand and listen to how his brain thinks about personal development and preferences through Jungian psychology is just fascinating. And it really has expanded my mind, and I guess my heart as well, in terms of understanding people. And Andy Jr., who is a business leader, a CEO, and tremendous in guiding this organization through those 20 years, has been very developmental to watch. One little thing that I always remember is Andy talks about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals that he wants to have. And I try and bring that into my own career. What's the thing that is so far away you can barely touch, but maybe you can. Maybe you can.
Could you quickly give us a succinct version of what is it that you hold in your hand and what is this insight discovery model?
I will try. The word succinct. Say you might have to stop me because I'm so passionate about it and I'll talk a lot. But you're right. We want to give people an awareness of what these little four colors are. So we call them color energies. So the insights discovery model is based upon four color energies, which you can see behind you, which allow us and help us to understand our style, our approach, our preferences, and how we just see the world. So there's four of them here, which I'll just quickly describe. There's two important points, I think.
Okay.
One is it's preference based, so how I prefer to do something. So rather than capability.
So it's not boxing anybody. It's just you just have preference for it. Doesn't mean that you can't access the other energies.
Exactly. So we can access all four. So we can access all four of these, and also we can access skill. So we can build a skill into something, but we might not have a preference, but we can still do it. So and then also the aspect of that we are all four. So although as we go through these very quickly in a moment, you might think, oh, I'm not, I don't really. But you've still got it, so you've still got it. Even us, maybe these are our orders, maybe they are not, but there could be different. There we go. We'll get yours in the right one.
What am I?
There we go. So let me just do a little bit of this as well, and I'll kind of just talk to them quite quickly.
Yeah.
So we can see the reason we show these is because of the simplicity of language. So this is really easy. Four colors, great. If we think about this green one at the top, the little words it says is show me you care.
Yeah.
So earth green energy is all about showing you that I care about you and you care about me, and we develop a trust. So we're caring and understanding. So sometimes we have quite a lot of that energy. We like this one-to-one style conversation. And so it's very kind of personal and values orientated. So earth green energy, and we're introverted feeling energy. So you can kind of get the sense, we'll not explain them all, but you get the sense of what that might look like.
Any popular personality you can think of when you think of this energy? Who leads with this?
Oh, it's a tricky one, that isn't it? I mean, I think the classical ones might be a Mother Teresa or somebody like that who almost like gives their life to support of others. So this energy might not be as extreme for us individually, but often when somebody leads with this, they are looking to serve. They're looking to serve others. But there's a little bit of, but show me you care as well, because I want that connection point. So yeah, so that's the earth green one. Let's actually move across the model if we think about the opposites. So if earth green energy was more of our introverted feeling, let's go to our fiery red. Even the words, there we go, fiery red energy. This is exactly, my wife would say this: be brief, be bright, be gone. We go opposite ends of the model and we kind of pick up on a slightly different energy. This fiery red, extroverted thinking. Be brief, tell me what you need, tell me what you want. I'll tell you quickly, and we'll be bright and gone somewhere else. We'll move forward with focus, results, purpose. I need to be moving, that momentum that I want to create and being able to create those results. Now, Girish, that one is probably my lowest. What about you? Does that one sit somewhere for you?
That's actually my most preferred or dominant energy. It feels like a clock, constantly moving, never stop.
Yeah. And at this point in time, you're saying to yourself, "Come on, Lindsay, hurry up. Let's move through the next one." That's probably what's happening.
So being flexible, I'm trying to flex and enhance my skill and trying to dip into a little bit of
trying. Yeah. Even the way we hold them are kind of like, I don't know. So there's the kind of the if we think about it as a model on a wheel, there's our opposites kind of sitting together. That lovely tension, we can call it as well, between the introverted feeling and the extroverted thinking of the energies. So they can work really well together and complement. But of course, there could be a little bit of that tension as well that comes in, which we've got to understand. So in the world of insights discovery and personal development, what a great understanding that can create between people. So there's two of them. Let's pick up on the next two. If we do a similar approach where we kind of get those opposites. So let's start with cool blue energy. So again, our little tagline on Cool Blue Energy: give me details.
Yeah.
Again, that really, for me,
Mm.
epitomizes what Cool Blue Energy is all about. I need
Mm.
information. I'm quite logical thinking, so introverted thinking,
Mm.
quite logical thinking. I want information, data, and understanding.
Mm.
I absolutely need to think before I speak.
Mm.
So often I need the details to be able to do that. So
Mm.
that more quiet, probably a little bit calmer, maybe sometimes might feel like we're in the background a little bit before we're confident enough to then come forward.
Mm.
If we think about those introverted energies sitting together, so Earth Green energy and Cool Blue, they kind of sit together nicely for our introversion. So lovely. So we can see the two there. And they're maybe mine. So show me you care Earth Green energy and the
Mhm.
Cool Blue give me details. Probably pop to the top for me. So they sit nicely together.
All right.
Then our opposite to our Cool Blue is
Mhm.
our Sunshine Yellow energy. And I
Yeah.
love this one. Involve me in everything, involve me in things, involve me in conversations. I'm
Mm.
passionate, I've got energy. I love a
Mm.
bit of brainstorming. I love being part of something. I
Mm.
probably enjoy more a
Mm.
crowd than I
Mm.
do the one-to-ones. My cup is filled up with energy,
Mhm.
extroverted feeling energy.
Mm.
The opposite to our Cool Blue. And you can see that can be a lovely compliment. And
Absolutely.
indeed, we can find those different ones. So yes, tell me again your order. Where would you order these?
Let's start with mine. So, fiery red, extroverted thinking energy, constantly moving. I want things now and keep moving. Next for me is again an extroverted energy, but
Love it.
I would like it's like involve me, as you said, collaboration, brainstorming. Next for me is cool blue energy, the introverted thinking.
Mm.
I want to know everything. I want to understand the world around me. And then finally, it's my earth green energy right at the bottom. Introverted feeling energy. As you say, show me you care. Harmony is the keyword.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Superb. And like I say, as you described it, your Earth green energy is at the bottom, but it
Mhm.
still exists. It's
Yeah.
just at the bottom of the four that we've decided to choose. So let me quickly do mine just for the benefit of the balance. Interestingly, my Earth green's at the top. So that's interesting for us, isn't it? And then my cool blue energy, give me the details.
Mhm.
And then there's a little bit of that sunshine yellow energy being involved in part of something. And then actually my least is that be brief, be bright, be gone, then move forward. So I know, and maybe sometimes I rely on you to say, right, let's get moving. Because I'm
Mhm.
still I'm still here. I'm still doing this stuff. So that's an interesting dynamic. So we can relatively quickly see how we can, one, increase our own awareness,
Mhm.
and even more importantly, we could start to think about other people and
Yeah.
think, all right, this is why we get on really well.
Mhm.
And that's maybe a place where there's just a little bit of work we can do to work together.
Absolutely. We are polar opposites just by looking at the order of our color energies. Yeah. And I mean, let's give everybody a case study, a story of helping a client with insight discovery. Could you share any case studies where you have taken the client on a journey and helped them grow?
Absolutely. So right now, I'm working with a senior leadership team.
Mhm.
So it's kind of senior leadership into board level. So there's already that dynamic of the board is senior leaders, but
Mhm.
some of them are giving their time as a part-time basis. So they're being part of it's a charity, so more of a charity style approach. And others are in a part of a senior leadership role. So they're full-time within an organization, which is there to make money and do all the things it's supposed to do. So where they're on a journey is they're relatively new members within both parts of that.
Mhm.
So a new CEO, some senior leaders, and
Mhm.
also some new board members. So where we're moving towards is almost a kind of a kickoff, a restarting. Because
Mhm.
every time somebody leaves or somebody joins a team, it's a
Mhm.
new team. So we're thinking, well, how do we do that really well? So we've had lots of conversations about the power of insights discovery to help us
Mhm.
understand that team dynamic and
Mhm.
understand the individual relationships across the group. So that's almost a foundational starting point. And that will hopefully lead to then some brilliant developmental work with the group, understanding of relationships, understanding of where are the areas we want to work on. As senior leaders of this organization, where do we want to work on? And a bit more of an action plan going forward. So the process we're putting in place is that I will be having individual discussions with each of the team members. So that tees it up. That helps everybody. We've talked about psychological safety. It helps everyone feel like, okay, I understand what's happening. I understand this little model, and I understand what is being asked of me when I'm in a group environment. So we'll do individual discussions with everybody.
We were with a client a couple of days ago, and this was a charity foundation working for the welfare of youth. And when they started, there were just two of them. And now, because of their wonderful work, they have grown into a team of 10 members.
Wow.
And suddenly they can feel the friction in the team and realize something is not working out. And that's where we stepped in. And that half-day workshop, just that half-day workshop, after reading through the profile, understanding the concept of perspective, color energies, the feedback that they gave and what they went away with was they now understand why there is friction in the team. They now have a set of next steps that they can take or what the team really needs.
I guess it's a bit an example, isn't it, of before that, maybe they didn't have the language, they didn't have the framework to be able to express to each other where the challenges might be lying.
Yes.
And then suddenly we give them a simple language, and suddenly we can start saying, oh, we need a shared purpose together. We don't have that. Or we need to work on our climate and our cohesion, or we need to collaborate more together. Or indeed, maybe it's process, excuse me, maybe it's processes. Maybe that's the thing that's getting in our way. So what a great example of helping people come together and have better relationships, which we then know will have better results.
If we look from the leader's perspective, a manager's perspective, who we report to, imagine the manager who knows that these are our color energies, understands this. What kind of benefit does it bring to the manager and the team?
I think, again, it's so timely, I think, because the words of self-awareness, raising awareness, is absolutely one of those, human skills or kind of skills we require in the workplace today to build upon. So, and I think Insights Discovery gives us a really simple, but not easy, but simple language to be able to understand ourselves. So that's a kind of a starting point. And then we can imagine as we lead others, everybody is different, everybody is unique.
Yeah.
So as a leader, we can tap into that understanding. And even just as we did, if you're my leader and I'm in your team, instantly we can start to have a conversation that's maybe a different dialogue. This language gives us a different set of words and phrases to chat and discuss things. They can use this language to help discuss things, which I think, again, through experience, may not have been discussed before.
Yeah.
This gives us an opportunity to do that, I think. So trust, psychological safety, openness, authenticity. What brilliant phrases and words that can come from a conversation like this.
Would you be able or comfortable to share any case studies of your clients or how this has helped relieve them from their pain points?
I think there's many, and so let me think of a couple that we can share that are again really quite impactful about how we can use Insights Discovery. So I always use the term Insights Discovery is a great language, but is the vehicle to the something. And to your point, it's the vehicle to somewhere else. So a couple of relevant ones, I think. I'll think of one which is a slightly broader topic. So resilience and change. So working with an organization whereby they are really thinking about the well-being of their people. So how do we help our people as the world changes and different things happen and there's different pressure points? So when we think about these four color energies in a topic, so resilience and change, we can start to help people. So we can understand, okay, how do I go through change? What does that look like? And how do I feel? And what do I think about? And how do I transition through the change cycle of that conversation? So Insights Discovery can help us by identification. Oh, that's why I think and feel that way,
Mm.
and then being able to do something about it
Mm.
that allows us to then create resilience as
Mm.
we go forward. So that's a really nice project from a well-being perspective to
Mm.
help with the resilience and the change that's going on in an organization. So it helps people, again, that supercharging of feeling confident, more
Mm.
confident in where they are.
Can I share a story? It just came to my mind.
Please do.
Wanted a team building workshop for his team and at the end of the year. So we went in, and then before the workshop began, I walked up to the MD and asked him, is there any objective you would like to achieve by the end of this workshop? And he just said, there are these two guys in our team, and they're like oil and water. They just don't get along. I just want them to be able to speak to each other by the end of the workshop. Long and behold, by the end, I still have this picture in my mind. I saw both of them talking so deeply and intently, like husband and wives. And when we took the final picture where the whole team came together, everybody was standing next to each other. I mean, shoulder to shoulder. There were two guys who had their hands on each other's shoulder.
Ah, that's amazing. What a great story, isn't it? And it kind of goes to that aspect of sometimes I heard a phrase the other day, and it was talking about the fact of um, in a relationship, in a conversation, like you've just described, there's
Mhm.
that kind of either it can be combat or it
Mhm.
can be curiosity.
Ah,
And I think our job is to sometimes, not it doesn't always happen, but sometimes almost turn that combat. Now, combat, we mean there's a bit of tension, turn that combat into curiosity. And if we can get into curiosity, then like your example,
mhm.
suddenly we're
Yes.
good mates because we understand now.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think there are any challenges? I mean, in your experience, have you faced any challenges in delivering these workshops or using these color energies?
I think with anything to do with um, personal development, team development, when you're working with people,
Mhm.
people will have different experiences to what they're being involved in. Of course they will. And so I always go in to any situation with my eyes open and an understanding that you'll have a spectrum.
Mhm.
Some people will buy in and it's everything. It's everything. They're fully bought in. And other people might be, a little bit more wait and see.
Mhm.
And some people may be a little bit more skeptical about, well, what we're doing here. So that sometimes is a typical experience and the
Mhm.
challenge we might have. What I have found though is if we are able to allow that, so we
Mhm.
let it breathe and we let it be in the room,
Mhm.
people will come to their conclusions that actually, oh, wait a minute, there's something interesting here.
Mhm.
And they will find the thing, and I always talk about the golden nugget because the work that we do doesn't have a big splash at the end.
Mhm.
There's always going to be a golden nugget to find through the journey. So find your own golden nugget. That's always my challenge to people. So that's why one of the aspects of just bringing everybody on a journey together, and it
Mhm.
can be sometimes difficult and be sometimes hugely valuing. What about you? Any other ones that you've come across?
I was thinking when you were responding, and I was thinking, for me, it was like an aha moment because that's what I've heard a lot of people talk and say this. Like when they read their profile, they have this moment where they say, "Oh my God, did you speak to my wife? Did you speak to my mother? How come this profile knows me so well?" And that's the kind of experience I had. Although the first profile I read was not mine, it was my partner's, and it brought me to tears.
Absolutely. And when people say to me, "What? How did you speak to this person and this person?" I always say, "Yes, yes, we did." No, we did. We didn't. But it talks to again the good combination of a really, really impactful model and language combined with a rich, deep report that you can really begin those developmental discussions.
Mhm.
And the Insights Discovery Profile is a
Yeah.
guide to all these brilliant places. And to your experience, you've read your partners.
Mm.
And that's brilliant, isn't it? Because you're learning all this great stuff that
Yeah.
you can then think about in terms of your relationship, which is exactly what it's there for.
Yeah, true, true. I think I'm deeply indebted to this profile because it has enhanced my relationship with my partner immensely. I think it has made me understand myself better. I think it has helped me approach the world in a more holistic way. I'm more open to the world. I feel like I'm in a better position to make connections with others when I go to networking events or when I'm in a work
Mm.
thing. I feel like I am more emotionally intelligent.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, the word that comes to my mind is growth.
Ah,
Emotional growth,
mm,
personal growth.
mm,
And that's not to say that well, personally, I still get it wrong,
mm,
but every time there's my wife and I, and there'll be a conversation, and I'll recognize the conversation, I'll recognize the personality types, but I still get it wrong. But it's a growth. It's an emotional growth that maybe next time it comes up, you can kind of go, oh, right, okay, this time I will try my hardest to adapt. We talk about it a lot, don't we? Adapt and connect, adapt and connect. How do I do that really well? And I love that. Emotional growth is a
mm.
superb thing as part of this process.
Would you say then this model can be really helpful for cross-cultural teams or hybrid teams?
I think in particular it is. I think we're having a brilliant conversation now. My wife is British Asian, so her family are from Vietnam, and so there's a cross-cultural conversation there alone. And so what we do know is that a language like Insights Discovery is
Mm,
the grounding point, is the
true.
kind of the central column. Now, of course, if you and I were to have a deeper discussion, perhaps we would find that Earth Green Energy, although sounds the same,
Mm,
may just have a slight different tone for both of us because we come from different parts of the world,
mm,
different experiences. So I think what it does is it creates a grounding process and allows then brilliant conversations whereby we can understand differences
mm.
through the lens and what that might mean. I don't know for yourself. Have you noticed how the color ranges may be different for different people from different parts of the world? Do they show up differently, do you think?
Um, what I see is that culture influences people's color energy preferences. So, for example, in Asia, where I am, I notice a lot of the employees or the executives we work with lead with earth green energy.
Hmm.
No, it's the culture or natural tendency. They've been raised this way, or what exactly is the cause?
And what I think is interesting, your example is really good because earth green energy, if misunderstood, could be described as soft,
Mm,
as not as strong.
mm,
Now, I think actually the way that I've seen a number of Asian leaders use earth green energy
mm,
is with absolute power, but
mm,
with grace.
mm,
And so I think that's a great example of how the color energy could look different in different parts of the world.
mm,
And I actually think your example is one of the best ones where I've seen earth green energy, where
mm,
there's respect
mm,
and it's used very, very well in those scenarios. And of course, as we travel around the world, the different energies show up in different places. I was delivering a workshop for an organization, and there was a number of people from South America. So
uh-huh,
these two energies pop to the surface, and there's much more obvious
mm,
passion because we've all got passion, but
mm,
more obvious passion and energy that comes from that.
mm,
So of course, it does change slightly as we travel around the world. I think back to our point, it's just really important to understand it because yes, culturally, but then it becomes individual. So
mm.
how do I see the world? How do you see the world? And that's where we connect in
True, true, absolutely.
that sense.
Brilliant, brilliant. I think we have given our audience some food for thought or something to go away with. They can now start thinking about their color energies. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for bringing
Thank
in,
you.
giving us your time, for sharing your insights, sharing a brief understanding of these color energies. Is there anything you would like to say to the audience before we end the show?
Well, one, thank you, and thank you to be here. But in terms of the listeners and the audience, say embrace Insights Discovery. If you're listening to this,
Mm-hmm.
then say have a go, and think about the topics we've discussed in terms of how they maybe show up in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
Or indeed, if you support others, if you're in an L&D role or you're in a kind of a training role, how could something like this really impact people? I always use this, I've used this term again. It's simple. This
Mhm.
is the joy. It's simple to understand.
Lovely. Usually, we end our workshops by showing a quote by Carl Jung. I'm sure you know this quote. It's where he says, people who look outside dream, those who look inside awake.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I think that there's, like I say, there's many Jung quotes, and I particularly like that one. I think, say, when you're able to really think about yourself and look inwardly, there's so much that can come from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lindsay, where can our audience find you if they really want to connect?
So LinkedIn's a great place. They'll find me under my name. Shek-Munro Consulting is where I kind of do my work, which is fantastic. And I'm sure they can find me and find us through this process as well.
So we'll put this all in the show notes for them to get in touch with you. Thank you so much for your time,
Oh
Lindsay.
yes,
Go ahead.
lovely. Thank you. Speak soon. Bye bye.